Come on, let me get up this program. Hey, what's up, y'all? If y'all can hear me, put something in the chat for me. I'm trying to X out one of my programs here. All right, come on. There we go. Hey, peace. What's up? What's happening? You can hear me? Cool. One flow. What up? What's happening? B Smitty, what up? What's good? All right, so look, man. Happy Independence Day, man. I'm Team USA, the old USA, the original USA. I don't know about all this stuff today that I see. I ain't really that. In fact, I'm very seriously thinking about moving to a Muslim country at this point in my life. Man, where do we begin? So, historically speaking, man, coming up through consciousness, I used to hear things in the black conscious talk was like, Happy Jew Year and Happy 4th of July and, things of that nature. And, it was never about our independence. It was always about, the white man type of stuff and whatnot. And I had later came across information to the contrary. I got an absolute salute Abe Lincoln for pointing it out in his inauguration address. He mentioned the Articles of Association, which I'm going to show you. And that began a journey. I mean, a beautiful journey. And I was able to put the pieces of the puzzle together because historically, it's really not hard to do. Historically in America, you really had two main ideologies. You had people who were, for liberty and freedom for everyone, as the Declaration of Independence says. And then you had people who was like, no, we don't want you black folks to have no freedom. And then later, 100 years later, from Declaration of Independence to, almost 100 years later, you get the Civil War, which was the absolute biggest conflict that came to a head about this issue of black and white. Okay. And so there's people that were in power in the very beginning. In fact, before the beginning, that was on our side. And I just like to highlight that. And then I'll show the astronomical significance of what's happening because it's a disservice for us to get in the zone at this particular astronomical time and space to be like, all funky and, cut off from the beautiful energies, right? So a lot of this is not going to be a PowerPoint. It's going to be me going on websites and showing you live. I didn't feel like making the PowerPoint today. I'm just going to take you to the sites so you can see. And you have to do the due diligence to take notes on this stuff, okay? But I'm going to show you the stuff, all right? So Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, salute to those two. That's my man, TJ. TJ is like Dr. J. If Lincoln is Jordan, TJ is Dr. J. You get his game from him, you know what I mean? Or if you want to say one is Kobe and one is Jordan, same thing. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams not only signed the Declaration of Independence, but I don't know if y'all know this. In 1826, 50 years after the Declaration of Independence, they both died on July the 4th. So today, they're both, I don't know, but we're going to have to break out our calculators today too, because we're going to take our time. They went out in 26. It marks their 198th year of death. These two right here. And think about that. They signed a document on July 4th, which becomes our founding document in a sense. And they both died 50 years later on July 4th. And this is your second John Adams and your third Thomas Jefferson president. These two will go back and forth with each other. They were, political opposition, friendly opposition from what I saw. And they both died on the day that they signed the Declaration on. Hundreds of miles apart from Virginia all the way up to the northeast corner, Massachusetts type of vibe. Like, so, that's amazing in of itself, which should tell us that something is very intelligent. Something knows, something is intelligent. How could that be? And also, it's kind of like in the Civil War, the first battle in the Civil War, known as the Battle of Manassas, known as the Battle of Bull Run. See, in the South, because it was fought in a place called Manassas, Virginia. So in the South, they call it Manassas. Up north, we call it Bull Run. It's the same fight. So that started on a gentleman's farm. Like, his name was like William McElmer or something like that. And he packed his bags and he moved from Manassas to Appomattox, a couple hundred miles away in Virginia. 4 years later, in 1865, when the Civil War would come to an end and they needed to pick a piece of property to have Robert Lee come in and sign the sign the surrender papers, they picked William McElmer's place to end the Civil War. The Civil War started in 1861 on his property. He packs up and moves 100 miles away from Manassas to Appomattox. And then 4 years later, they signed the documents and it ended in his living room. And it was interesting because he was a sugar dealer. And from what I understand, food converts over into sugar. And sugar is nothing more than energy. That's why I got this saying, God is a sugar daddy. Okay? All right. So to have those type of things happen, the death of Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, and on the same day that they write the Declaration of Independence 50 years later, what a coincidence, we will later have in the future 50 states, which will be 50 stars on the flag. You feel me? So something is clearly intelligent. And then when you go to the Civil War, it starts and ends in the same gentleman's locations in different spots of his. Something is intelligent. Something knows. Okay. All right. So with that, let's show you the astronomical piece real fast before we get into the historical piece. All right. So right now in July, this is where we at. And today's actually the aphelion in 2024. Sometimes it could be July the 3rd. But today is it. Today is the day that we're absolute furthest from the sun today. But we're also in a straight line with the sun and Sirius. So this is our reality right now. It looks like this, okay? And it's interesting too, because the sun is not in the middle. So if we go back a slide, you will see that we're about 94.5 million miles in July from the sun. And then in January at the perihelion, when we're the closest, we're at 91.4 million. So the sun does not sit evenly. Okay, this is why we say on average is about 93 million miles away from, but it's an average. Okay, there's a furthest point where we are today. There is a closest point. So today, what's happening is the sun appears to be in a straight, beautiful alignment with Sirius. We can't see Sirius because of the brightness of the sun. So today is a beautiful solar transmission in Sirian transmission, because remember, you can Google image this. Remember the goddess of Egypt, Isis, or Set, or later becomes Sebdek, right? Has the star on her head, and you know the Egyptians love this particular star. This was the goddess. So when the earth is in this position, the sun appears in front of it. This is a direct line, a direct line to the Elohim is right here, okay? And then on the other side, when it's the new year, this is what the earth is passing through. So see, this is what you got to remember too. Our orbit around the sun is not like an even circle. It's kind of like more of an oval. So there's a part where we're going to go through the curve. Okay? We're going to go through the curve. All right? And so to have New Year right here when we're passing through, when we're in perfect alignment, to me, in my opinion, this is absolutely the most, I would definitely start, if I had to create a calendar and looking at all the celestial points, this is a beautiful point because you're now on a Syrian Earth solar clock. You're not like the Hebrews or the Jews. You're not like the Muslims that's rocking off a lunar time, the Chinese lunar time. You're serving a greater light in your alignment with your calendar system. Ingenious. Totally ingenious. Again, this is where we at in space-time today, receiving an influx of light from Sirius and the sun. Okay? All right. So let's get off that for a minute. Let me come off that. All right. Let's go to the good old Declaration of Independence real fast. Let me do this. Let me share my screen. I think I want to go here. Boop. All right. So in Congress, July 4th, 1776, this is the Declaration of Independence, right? The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. This is the first time that I've seen through documents the United States of America is going to call themselves the United States of America. But you have to understand that they're in the middle of the war with Britain for its independence. That doesn't end until 1783, okay? So you got to win that war in order for that independence to be established, because if you lose the war, you ain't independent, nothing. But when we go here to pretty much kind of what's like, what I call the preamble, this, but, when we get here, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? The question then becomes, well, brother, they weren't talking about Black folks. Well, I don't know if you know this. Where is it? I don't know if you know this. Let me share this tab. And this is coming from blackpass.org. You can also pull it up through Congress as well. But it tells you when Thomas Jefferson, first of all, it's the Declaration of Independence and the debate over slavery. When Thomas Jefferson included a passage attacking slavery in his draft of the Declaration of Independence, stop. You mean to tell me my man TJ had a passage in the Declaration of Independence that was attacking slavery? Yes, he did. So they go on to say it initiated the most intense debate among the delegates gathered at Philadelphia in the spring and early summer of 1776. Jefferson's passage on slavery was the most important section removed from the final document. As a compromise, it was replaced with the more ambiguous passage about King George's incitement of domestic insurrections among us. Decades later, this is interesting. Jefferson blamed the removal of the passage on delegates from where? South Cackalack, Georgia, and northern delegates who represented merchants who were at the time actively involved in the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so hold on. Let me stop sharing so I can come see you real fast. Hold on. It's 1776. What's up, Nikki? 1776. Break out your calculator. Now, they said Jefferson later blamed South Carolina, Georgia, and some northern delegates. Okay. Now, this is 1776. South Carolina is like, nah, I ain't with it. And Jefferson pointed this out. What a coincidence in 1861. So I need you to go 1861 minus 1776. Let's go 85 years in the future. 85 years in the future, it would be South Carolina who fired the first shot to start the Civil War. It's called the Battle of Fort Sumter. I know earlier I said the first battle was the Battle of Bull Run. That's the official battle. Fort Sumter was a sneak attack. A boat was minding its business in the Charleston Harbor, and the Confederates said, you know what? That's the United States boat called the Star of the West. The Star of the West is the name of the boat. And they said, yo, shoot. And they start shooting it. So America got sucker punched. Didn't even know. So then when America said, oh, that's what it is? Oh, this what we doing? Bet. That was the Battle of Bull Run. But my point is, Thomas Jefferson pointed out one of the states, South Carolina, that 85 years in the future would be the first state. Not only did they fire the first shot, they was the first state to try to attempt to secede from the Union. They tried to leave the United States of America and start their own country called the Confederate States of America. He also said Georgia. Georgia was number 3. It was South Carolina, Mississippi, then Georgia. Okay. I'm sorry, then Florida, Alabama, Georgia. Georgia was number 5. Okay. So the top 5 who tried to get their own thing popping was slave to have a slave country. Georgia was in the top 5. Okay. All right. So that's a fact. Thomas Jefferson pointing this out. I'm telling you, 85 years later, that will become a fact with South Carolina and Georgia. All right. All right. So let me get to my screen here. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Let me see what's this one. Ooh. All right. So, and this is what the actual text says in the original Declaration of Independence. He, talking about King George, has waged cruel war against human nature itself, violating its most sacred rights of life and liberty in the persons of a distant people who never offended him, captivating and carrying them into slavery, in another hemisphere, or to incur miserable death in their transportation thither. Y'all hear them bars? Y'all hear them bars? He's like, yo, he calling King George out to a distant people who never offended you. They never did nothing to you, King George. You capturing them, you carrying them into slavery, you're bringing them into another hemisphere. So wait a minute. You know what that means? You know what that means? You know what that means? The United States of America, who's attempting to become the United States, they're saying, yo, this ain't on us. That's them. We inherited this system, and I'm pointing out that this dude is the one that's running the show. He's called the king. He running the show, okay? So he cleverly pointed that out. So my point in this is we may have not known that in the original Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson put a clause in there that's getting at King George, okay? So when he writes the Declaration of Independence, you can't say that they ain't for us when they took that clause out. And it's a reason why they took that clause out. I keep telling you, you don't listen. You're already in the middle of an American Revolutionary War. As we just proved when we went up into the future, like 85 years later, it's going to be a civil war. So do you want a civil war? Because the same states that was in the Civil War, at least the 2, right? With Georgia and South Carolina, as Jefferson pointed out, these states are going to fight you in the future. So do you think if you stand on your square about slavery, do you think they won't join the British right now? They objecting to it right now. So now what you gonna do? Do you say right is right and we fight both wars at the same time? Or do we say, let's come up with a systematic plan, slavery on the back burner, let's just deal with this, because right now, our future enemies, Georgia, South Carolina, and them, we are in agreement that we need to get away from the crown. So let's beat that first. And then if it comes to a civil war later, we can beat that later. You feel me? But right now, we can't take on both. And you just got to be real about that. That's called military strategy. Okay? All right. So let me bring your attention to the real beginning. Okay? Bring you to the real beginning. I'm going to share this tab, but this is not the tab that I'm going to actually share. I want to share this tab right here. So this is the real beginning right here. This is the real beginning. October 20. And I'm going to show you 3 different beginnings. I'm going to show you the country's beginning. I'm going to show you which should be our beginning. And then I'm going to show you what the founding fathers, what they mark as the beginning. Okay. So October 20th, 1774, we're going to go to clause number 2. Number 2. And if I'm not mistaken, it's like 14 clauses in this thing, right? It's 14 clauses in this thing. And point number 2, what do it say? We will neither import nor purchase any slave imported after the first day of December next. Bro, that's like a month and a half. After which time we will wholly discontinue the slave trade, and we will neither be concerned in it ourselves, nor will we hire our vessels, nor sell our commodities or manufactures to those who are concerned in it. So this upcoming December 1774, we are absolutely done with slavery. This is 1774. This is before your Declaration of Independence, 1776. In fact, the American Revolutionary War ain't even start yet. That will start until what? March, April of 1775, the following year. So this is before the American Revolutionary War. You got some gentlemen coming together that got 14 bullet points, which this is the declaration before the declaration. They got 14 bullet points like, yo, this is what we stand on. And out of 14, number 2, you telling me, was a slave issue. Yeah. Now, let's go see if we can find, what's this one here? That's not the one, but hold on. It's this one here. Nope. What's this? Yeah. Let me see if y'all seeing this. I think it is this one. Let me see. View. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Stop sharing. There we go. All right. So now when we come down, let's go see who signed off on this. Oh no, it ain't on this one. Oh, I'll go find it. That's Mr. Randolph right there. Hold on. I got it. I know what I'm gonna do. Hold on. Give me a second. I may have to go low ghetto style. Hold on. All right. So y'all know what I'm pulling from, the Constitution of the United States of America. At the top, you're going to see it says Articles of Association. There go Mr. John Adams' name that is highlighted, right? There go a gentleman by the name of John Jay from Connecticut who is highlighted. Hold on. And last but not least, you see it. It says at the top, Articles of Association, George Washington. Oh, hold on. George Washington. Now, hold on. Break out your calculator. The year is 1774. Yes? George Washington don't become inaugurated to what, 1788? He wins the 88 election, right? So 1788 minus 1774. So George Washington signs off on a document in 14 years in the future. This is going to be your first president. Okay? He's not even president yet. He ain't even the head of the Continental Army yet because it ain't even a war yet. He's on this document. Okay? Your second president, John Adams, he's on the document. Okay. Now, since we're here, right, and we can go see this, right? I should do this in real time so you can see, but hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna show you something. Let me come here. Let me show you. Oh, we're gonna go for a ride today. We're gonna go for a ride today. Okay. Now, y'all saw a gentleman by the name of John Jay. John Jay is one of the creators and members of what? The New York Manumissions Society. Yeah, John Jay, right here. Okay? And their whole job was to what? Their work on behalf of Black New Yorkers began with protests in the widespread practice of kidnapping Black New Yorkers, the slave and the free, and selling them as slaves elsewhere. All right, then talk about how they later passed. But their job was to do what? Free Black folks. Okay? And by the way, as you would see, your first, what was the Alexander Hamilton, maybe Secretary of State, if I'm not mistaken. Alexander Hamilton, he was a member too. You see his name? He was the member. Your man on the $20 bill, he was with you. Huh? Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. Either some stuff was left out or we just don't know. And that's cool if we don't know. All right. So hold on. Let me see where I'm going to go next here. Now, let me move on. I'm going to go to this tab right here. Let's move on to something called the Articles of Confederation. Okay. The Articles of Confederation is basically a constitution before the Constitution. So it was like, hey, man, we in the middle of the war still. We're fighting for our independence, but let's go ahead and put some documents together so we can best form our government. And this is G, because they didn't wait to get a victory to try to figure it out. They was figuring it out why they did it. In fact, this is what they said at the very end of this document. What do it say? How do they sign off on this thing? In witness whereof we have hereto set our hands in Congress, done at Philadelphia in the state of Pennsylvania in the 9th day of July 9th, in the year of our Lord, 1778. Here's the kicker. And the 3rd year of independence. Wait a minute. 1778 minus 3 is 1775. Are y'all hearing me? 1778 minus 3 is 1775. Well, what happened in 1775? Well, March of 1775 was the Battle of Lexington and Concord, the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. Can we validate that? Because it comes up again. It comes up right here. And let me share my screen, because it's going to come up right here. Let's go to a document, one of my favorite documents, which, by the way, this is called the Northwest Ordinance. Okay. This is on the government's website in the archives. In the Northwest Ordinance, their very last section or article, what do it say? There should be neither slavery nor involuntary servitude in the said territory. Huh? This is 1787. This is before the Constitution takes effect. The Constitution takes effect in what? 1789, if I'm not mistaken. This is before that. But look how they signed off on it. Done by the United States in Congress, assembled the 13th day of July. Why they keep doing stuff in July? In the year of our Lord, 1787, and of their sovereignty and independence, the 12th. 1787 minus 12 is what? 1775. Wow. So hear me closely. The founding fathers are counting their independence at the time the bullets started going. They're not counting 1776. 1776 is nothing wrong with that. 1776 is when the citizens said, yo, they sat down and wrote this Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. We as Americans should honor that meeting that they had. Nothing wrong with that. My point is, you and I can sit here and say, you know what? Shit, October 20th, 1774 is the first documented piece of evidence that says they don't want to have nothing to do with slavery. So we're going to count the independence in 1774. You can. My point is, you can observe whatever you want to observe as a starting point. This is the reason why world cultures have different calendar systems, because they're looking at certain different celestial bodies in space that they're measuring. And plus, the Philadelphia 75ers, how would you say that? Like 76ers. How would you say 70? What is it, the 75ers? It don't make sense, right? 76, that flows better, right? But the point is, the founding fathers was on something else, right? Now, we also saw in that Northwest Ordinance, which, by the way, they're telling you, and this is ingenious because they like, listen, we're still in the middle of the 1787. The war is over now. So now they're like, hey, listen, we're going to form our Constitution and we're about to expand this country. And so our first order of business in expanding this country is going to be west of the Alleghenies, which is Pittsburgh. West of Pittsburgh is Ohio, right? North of the Ohio River, Ohio, okay? And east of the Mississippi River, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan. That's known as the Northwest Ordinance, the real NWO. The Northwest Ordinance, there will be no slaves allowed in this territory. This is 1787. This is before the Constitution took effect. Once again, showing you that somebody has our best interests at heart. Because here comes another document. Now, if you don't believe me, and we're going to look at this live. I'm telling you this shit, I got this shit in my head. So I'm about to show you something live. Let me share my screen, right? Because I'm going to show you what good old Mississippi said. I'm going to watch this. Mississippi secession speech. The Avalon Project got it. Yale University got it, right? What did Mississippi say? What did they say? They said the hostility to this institution, talking about slavery, commenced before the adoption of the Constitution. And it was manifested in the well-known Ordinance of 1787 in regard to the Northwest Territory. Huh? So this is Mississippi saying the United States government has always tried to interfere with the institution of slavery. You don't believe me? Let me tell you that they did it before the adoption of the Constitution, and let me tell you that they did it in this manifested, well-known document called the Ordinance of 1787. Mississippi is said to have lynched more niggas on the record than any state in these United States. Now, who do I believe? These black power ass niggas telling you that your independence ain't for you, or Mississippi, who lynched you, who hung you, who wanted their own nation of slaves, said, nope, that government called the United States of America has always been against slavery. They were there. Who should I believe? Come on, man. Stop playing. You see? So even Mississippi is telling you what the deal is. Okay? All right. Cool. So now, let's see. Where should we go? So let's get into the Constitution a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. All right, because we got some issues over there. We definitely got some issues in the Constitution that people want to say. All right. Let me go here, but I'm gonna switch that tab out to what is this one? I'm gonna go here. Share this tab in first. What's this one? Let me see. We want to go. Yeah, let's go here. All right, here we go. So this is Article 1, Section 9 of the United States Constitution, and it's talking about the importation of slavery. So let's read it. The migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by Congress prior to the year 1808. But a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation not exceeding $10 for each person. This is in the Constitution. So they're saying that the government will not stop the importation of slavery. Yes. Oh, let me see something. The importation of slavery until 1808. Ain't that what it said? But in the meantime, we can tax you up to $10 per person. So in the Constitution Convention, mind you, in the Declaration, Thomas Jefferson said he's getting some flack from the southern states, Georgia, South Carolina. So at the Constitution Convention, you think it ain't the same thing? It's the same thing. This was a problem, this issue of slavery, okay? So the Congress said, listen, man. We ain't going to interfere with this shit until 1808, okay? But in the meantime, you bring them in $10 a head. Okay, so this is the government being on the record that we against it and we gonna kill it in 20 years. 1808. Okay, now watch this, and we can look together. We're gonna look together, so you gonna know. Let me see. Let me share my screen. Let me go to Confederate States. I'm gonna change that. That's cool. So watch this. And Mississippi was, boy, they said some shit. But watch this. 1808 slavery. Let's see. I'm looking at my phone at the same time. Come on, talk to me. An act of Congress passed in 1800 made it illegal for Americans to engage in a slave trade between nations, right? And then let's go down. Then the act prohibiting the importation of slaves took effect January the 1st, 1808. That's a fact. Okay? You don't believe me? We can try to get a little bit more of a refined search on this. Ooh. Okay? Well, I tell you, it became effective when? January 1st, 1808. Who signed that into law? Look at the top. President who? TJ, Thomas Jefferson. He wrote it in 1807, and it took effect in 1808. Wait a minute, bro. So TJ, you in the Declaration of Independence trying to get our freedom, got some clapback, you take it out. Then when it comes to the Congress says, listen, man, the year is now 1788, and 20 years in 1808, we gonna stop the importation of slavery. And then when 20 years got here in 1808, on the very first day, Thomas Jefferson signs the law and says, nope, you will no longer bring slaves into this country. Y'all got TJ messed up. Telling you he one of the goats. You got him messed up, okay? So now we actually see America making good on her word when it comes to slavery. Oh, you ain't never heard them words before. Ooh, I know that's burning some people up, probably. America made good on her words as it pertains to ending slavery. Yeah, we just saw it. Okay. All right. Now, which, by the way, something else cleverly happened beforehand. Y'all want to see that? I'm going to show you what happened before that. All right. Let me share my screen. Let me come here to this. Watch this. I want to say 1795. Slave law. Let me see. Slave Trade Act of 1794 was a law passed by the United States Congress that prohibited the building or outfitting of ships in U.S. ports in an international slave trade. It was signed into law by who? George Washington. 1794. Okay? An act to prohibit the carrying on the slave trade from the United States to any foreign place or country. In other words, look right here. What do that mean? An act to prohibit the carrying on of the slave trade from the United States to any foreign place or country. In other words, George Washington made it illegal to export slaves out the country. That's 1794. But 20 years prior, he's on the document, 1774, Articles of Association, where he signed off in clause number 2, we don't want to have nothing to do with slavery. See, they playing the long game, man. 20 years. Thomas Jefferson, 20 years. They playing the long game. Stop playing, man. Stop playing. These cats playing a whole nother ball game. All right. All right. So now let me see something here. Where we at? Oh, let's clear this up as well while we on the subject matter of the Constitution. Let's go ahead and clear this up. Let me share. It's not that one. It's this one. Okay. Here we go. Let's share this. So now we're about to move to Article 1, Section 2. Boy, I heard Malcolm X going in. That nigga thought he was dropping. Right, salute the brother Malcolm, but you had it wrong. And that's okay. Be human. So this whole section here is talking to who? The House of Representatives. Okay? So don't read let's read the blue. Let's take our time. We're going to read this section all right here. Not all of it. We're going to stop at the famous 3/5 of all other persons. So let's read the blue. Representatives in direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union, according to their respective numbers. See, that's the key. And I'm going to tell you what that number is, which shall be determined by adding the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons. Hold on. It says 3/5 of all other persons. Did it say you are 3/5 of a person? Because if you are the other persons, and let's just say, I know simple math, 3/5 is 60%. Did it say 3/5 of all other persons or 60% of those people? Or did it specifically say each of those people are 3/5 of a person? Because it did not say that. It did not say those people are 3/5 of a person. It says 3/5 of those people. You see how emotional we get? That literally our train of logic is lost and we automatically go to the 3/5 of a human being. I always like to share this because it's the truth. Now, let me tell you the number. Each representative in Congress can represent 30,000 people at one time. When there's 30,000 people here, another representative comes in, and this is why California got 1 million damn representatives in Congress. In West Virginia, we only have a few. Okay? So it's based off of 30,000 people blocks per rep. Ladies and gentlemen, should I break out my calculator or do you want to do it? I think you should break out your calculator, and I'm not going to tell you. And I already know this math. I done did it 1,000,000 times. Hypothetically speaking, just as an example to convey the point, if there are 1,000,000 slaves on the census, 1,000,000, and you can count all of them as free persons. And first of all, let me back up a little bit. Who did we say they talking to? The representatives in Congress, not senators. House of Representatives. Okay. Are they talking to Northern representatives or are they talking to Southern representatives where you count slaves? Let's understand that. Oh, they talking to Southern representatives where you count slaves. Okay. So Mr. Boss Man, Mr. Slave Master, that's who they talking to? Yeah, yes, sir. Be talking to him. Yes, sir. Master. They talking about Master. Okay. All right. So now, if Master count all of these here slaves, and it's 1,000,000, 1,000,000 slaves divided by 30,000 per Master representative, do the math, that will be 33.3 representatives. We would have 33 Masters in the House of Representatives if they count all 1,000,000 slaves in our example. But the text said you can only count 3/5 of other persons, which is 60%. 60% of 1,000,000 is 600,000. 600,000 divided by 30,000 per person is exactly 20. So now massa representation, if he count all the slaves, 33. If he counts 60%, 20. He just lost what? 13. This law or this clever language within the Constitution shrank massa's representation in Congress, but yet these niggas that's so pro-blackity black will tell you that you were counted as 3/5 of a human being. And let's take that argument. Even if you was counted as 3/5 of a human being, why would you want your slave master to count you as a whole person so he can have more of his kind in power, you jackass? Why? It don't make no sense. You see? And this is the problem. This is a major problem. Okay? So anyway, so now we see that in the Constitution, two things that we learned. They stood on business and said that they was going to outlaw slavery in 1808. Thomas Jefferson later came, signed that into law, made that happen. We also learned in the Constitution that the 3/5 clause inside of there works to our favor because it shrinks massa's representation in Congress. Okay? So, Constitution, good or bad? Clap it up for the Constitution. Okay? Now, let me see. Now, I can totally freestyle from this particular point here. Okay? Now, in the chat, let me know. Y'all all right? Y'all with me? Y'all good? Y'all enjoying this? Y'all good? Let me know. Put something in there because I ain't seen nobody say nothing in a long time. All right, so put something in the chat for me so I can make sure that we even still live. All right. I'll show y'all. Put something in the chat. Let me know. Y'all good? Oh shit. I hope we good. All right, Angel Jackson, that's what's up. All right, Angel said this is so loud. Appreciate it. Anybody else here? We okay? All right, there you go. Sheree did in there. All right, 11 less. All right, cool. Now, now, now. Oh, let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all this. Do y'all know? Let me go screen share. We gonna y'all gonna see some shit today. All right, this restriction on stage. I'm gonna change this. All right, who is the father of the Constitution? Okay, do y'all know who that is? James Madison. Okay, do y'all know that James Madison? Watch this. James Madison. What's the name of it? American Colonialization Society. President James Madison was also a strong supporter of the ACS. He was elected the third president of the organization in 1833 and served until his death. Now, do y'all know that the American Colonialization Society actually was taking free people and those who were not in bondage, maybe even runaway slaves? And you know what they did? I'm going to tell you what they did. Watch this. American colonialization. Hold on. Watch this. Watch this. Society, right? Ooh, ooh. Liberia. What? Huh? Huh? Hold on. Hold on. What did it say? The founding of Liberia, 1847. The founding of Liberia in the early 1800s was motivated by the domestic politics of slavery and race in the United States, as well as by U.S. foreign policy interests. In 1816, a group of white Americans, see, niggas don't want to give them, niggas don't never want to give white people props, man. Y'all got to stop it. A group of white Americans founded the American Colonization Society to deal with the problem of the growing number of free blacks in the United States by what? Resettling them in Africa. Now, that ain't no old they free and it's a problem. No. That ain't what that was. All right. But anyway, so if you look at, this is why when you look at Liberia's flag, what do their flag look like, ladies and gentlemen? Huh? Is that not our flag? Huh? Facts. Because in truth, I don't know if you know, in truth, the neighboring country, Sierra Leone, that was founded by the British abolitionists. Was saying, listen, y'all want to go back to the motherland? Here you go. So hold on, let's be clear. So now the father of the Constitution, James Madison, serves as president of a society that's about black folks getting free. And if you want to go back home to the motherland, we just set up shop and created a whole new country for you called Liberia. Go ahead, go home to the motherland. Do that sound like a racist? Do that sound like somebody who wants to enslave you? No. And I'm sorry, but ain't no Africans, ain't no Moors, ain't no Muslims, ain't nobody, no Native Americans, ain't nobody go to this extent. If them parties I just named went to any extent at all, nobody went to this extent to help you. Sorry, but it's just the truth. It's on the record. So now the founding father or the founding father of the Constitution literally helped you get back to the motherland if that's what you wanted to do. Okay? Facts. All right? Now, I'll show you something else. Because something else that's not really talked about, let me show you what they ain't talked about, is the 1819 Piracy Law. 1819, 1820. Okay. In the 18 Piracy Law, look at this. 1820 Piracy Law stipulated that if any person or persons, whoever, shall on the high seas commit a crime of piracy as defined by law. Hold on, let's just go ahead and click on it because you get in trouble for this. Huh? Right here, as defined by law of nations, and such offender or offenders shall afterward be brought into or found in the United States, every such offender or offenders shall, upon conviction thereof, be punished by death. Okay? All right. So you couldn't bring, in the piracy law, you couldn't bring slaves over here because it had been made illegal already. Remember the importation of slavery in 1808? No, you can't. So in 1819, 1820, it was a piracy law. In fact, it was called, let me see if we can find it. Memory serves me correctly, African Squadron 1820. The United States Navy assisted the West Africa Squadron starting in 1820 with USS Cayenne. Why are you patrolling the west coast of Africa? And it was one person who was put to death behind this too. I think his name is Nathaniel Gordon. Think I'm lying? You think I'm lying? And this is what happened on Abraham Lincoln's watch. Let's see. Nathaniel, how you spell Nathaniel? Nathaniel Gordon. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. Nathaniel Gordon. Nathaniel Gordon. What did it say? Was an American slave trader who was the only person in the United States to be tried, convicted, and trust me when I tell you, he was put to death, convicted, and executed by the federal government for having engaged in the slave trade under the Piracy Law of 1820. No, the Piracy Law said it wasn't about slaves, so they didn't specifically, see, I saw that argument in there. They didn't specifically say you can't have slaves, so that's, it wasn't about that, brother. Okay. Then why they convict Nathaniel Gordon of the Piracy Law and they executed him? Why? See, when we get into this pocket, because see, this is another thing. Watch this. I'm going to show you how they move. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Let me go to screen share. So watch this. Y'all remember this? The Missouri Compromise, right? The Missouri Compromise. All right, let's see if we can get maybe a couple things happened with the Missouri Compromise. All right, one is, I wish I can blow that up. One is, let's see, it's the Compromise of 1850. I don't want this one. I want the Missouri Compromise. Hold on. The Missouri Compromise. Let's see. All right. Now dig this. And this is the so-called Missouri Compromise drew a line from east to west. This is called coast to coast, ladies and gentlemen, along the 36th parallel, dividing the nation into competing halves, half free, half slaves. The House passed the Compromise Bill March 2nd, 1820. Yes? So Missouri wants to come into the Union as a slave state. And then out of the Missouri Compromise, Maine was created. Maine came in. Now, watch this. Watch this. I got Mississippi, no wonder. Watch this. When did Missouri become a state? Right? 1821. Right? Now watch this. When did Maine become a state? 1820. Hold on. This is what I'm telling you. Listen. It's called the Missouri Compromise because Missouri wanted to come into the Union. It was a slave state. So now the powers that be, See, we don't ever talk about them. The powers that be was like, oh, this is what you want to do? I tell you what. Your Massachusetts, we're going to break that up, the little eastern part up. We're going to call it Maine. Maine, you're going to come in to check this. Then, hold on. They came in a whole year. Memory serves me correctly. It was almost 18 months. You saw it 1820, 1821. They came in a whole year before the state that applied to come into the Union first. They brought a free state in first. And then you know what that led me to do when I started to do this research? You can fact check me. I ain't gotta lie. Hold on. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. I then went to go look at the list of states that came into the Union. Delaware was the first state. That's why they license plate say the first state. That was a slave state. So you know what they did? This is how I see it in my head to remember. Excuse my language, but this is just how I get. I was just like, hey, yo, Philly, I need my Philly niggas to go free y'all Delaware slave homies. Go free the slave niggas from Delaware, Philly, because y'all right there. So I need my Philly niggas to go free the Delaware niggas. So Pennsylvania came in to check Delaware. Now watch this. The second card, I call that a first card. The first card is these two battling, in a sense, okay? The second card is New Jersey came in as the third state, and then Georgia came in as the fourth state. So Jersey niggas, I need y'all to go free the Georgia niggas. Now, the third card is Connecticut and Massachusetts up north came in, and then Maryland and South Carolina came in. So my Connecticut niggas, I need y'all to go free the Maryland niggas. My Massachusetts niggas, I need y'all to go free the South Carolina slaves. Okay? The fourth card, New Hampshire came in, and I need y'all to go free the Virginia slaves because Virginia came in as a slave state. On the fifth card, New York came in, and my New York niggas, I need y'all to go down to North Carolina, and that's interesting because I used to hear about Jay-Z and them. Y'all used to ride I-95 and y'all go down to North Carolina and sell y'all dope. So I need my New York niggas to go free the North Carolina slaves, okay? And I can keep on going and going until we get to the Civil War. And I promise you that it's not into the 11th card that we saw a slave state come into the Union before a free state. So when you start looking at the order of states or how they came into the Union, you're going to see a magnificent takeover and run from free states coming into the Union before a slave state come into the Union. Facts. Okay? All right? So that's how you can really see the takeover. And so that's what I'm saying. This country at one point in time was a slave colony of King George. Thomas Jefferson called King George out on that shit already. We saw that. And so now they already got documentation that's like, listen, we don't want to have nothing to do with this slave thing. And then when the states start to get assembled, they start assembling free states in, free states in, free states in, free first, then the slave, free first, then the slave. That's how that worked. Okay? All right? All right. So I got so much stuff on this stuff, but I think I'm just going to leave it about right there, though. You know, I think I'm going to leave it right there, you know, because colonial times I find more interesting. I remember when I first started doing this research, Jew was like, man, you're going to have to stay on the Civil War, man, because it's going to be hard to prove in the No, it ain't. It was actually way more easier in colonial America because there was more stuff going down. These cats drew a line in the sand. Y'all read it for yourself in the Missouri Compromise. They said, hey, ain't no slaves allowed above 36 degrees north latitude. You want to talk about a line in the sand? Like, they weren't playing from coast to coast. We ain't playing. So then you know what happened? The Kansas-Nebraska Act passed, and it overthrew that. And then that became Bleeding Kansas. Look at the history. It's called Bleeding Kansas. Now, I'm going to show y'all something real fast, though, because see, this is what you got to understand. because I saw it in that Constitution clause. Let me see if I can find it. They was talking about, and that was in the slave clause thing. I think I got rid of that page. Article 1, Section 9. But they was talking about, everybody remember that Dred Scott case was ruled, nah, nigga, you a nigga. You cannot be citizens, y'all niggas. Y'all have to understand. See, this is where you got to go. You got to do a little bit of research. Just go into who was the person who made the decision. When you look at Roger B. Taney, right? Oh boy, if I was to ever take a leak on somebody's grave, it would be that one. Let me go share my screen with you real fast so y'all can see this. I'm gonna go Chrome tab at prohibiting the importation of slaves. We can get rid of this. Roger Taney. Okay. Roger Taney. Let me go to Wiki. All right, he got a big file. All right. So Roger Taney, yes, is the one who, I'm telling you, he's the one who ruled against Dred Scott. Okay. Now, watch this. Watch this, watch this, watch this. And see, he was picked by Andrew Jackson anyway. Andrew Jackson is the one who created the Democratic Party. When Andrew Jackson came in, there was a big split in politics. I can name at least 3 different political parties that got started when he came on the scene. Okay? And so I'm not a big fan of Jackson like that, because Jackson would attack Fort Negro in Florida and put them back and put the free runaway slaves and stuff back into slavery. Andrew Jackson. Okay? That's a fact. But see, that's why the Spirit wants to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill to replace him. Y'all not, that's what I'm saying. We got to understand Spirit. Why? Because he's the one that's really the outcast on people that's on the denomination of bills. Everybody else had our back besides that one right there. You got to look at the marvel of that. Why? They said they could have said a $10 bill. Right? So anyway, after he leaves office, he dies when Lincoln is in office. So who did Lincoln put in his place? Salmon P. Chase. He used to be Secretary of the Treasury from the O, and that's where you get Chase Bank is named after him, right? And so they tell you now, he was known as the abolitionist attorney. So if you go, watch this, if you go Salmon P. Chase and Matilda, I ain't spell Matilda, right? What do it say? Matilda was captured and returned to her master by order of the local courts based on Fugitive Slave Act of 1793. Cincinnati attorney Salmon P. Chase, in alliance with what? Local abolitionist and publisher James G. Birney, acted in her defense because he was known as an abolitionist attorney. You see it. He was rolling with abolitionists. Salmon Chase, right? So he rolling with abolitionists. So when the racist Chief Justice dies, right? When he dies, Abraham Lincoln go tap him like, yo, take that spot. You got that. Huh? What are you talking about? So what are we talking about? Now, you can't never talk about Lincoln, but people try. But what are we talking about here? You see, I told you, you have 2 mindsets in America. But we know what the intentions of America was in the beginning, contrary to popular belief. You see what I'm saying? So Roger Taney represented the Confederate aspect of the mind. You see what I'm saying? So as soon as he died, Lincoln put in an abolitionist attorney. And look at the spirit on this. Why is Chase Bank the world's largest bank today? You want to see something else that's very interesting, right? Watch this. Watch this. This is what I'm saying. You got to follow the spirit on this thing, man. Watch this. Watch this. Lehman, remember Lehman Brothers? right? Lehman Brothers. Henry Lehman died in 1855, but when the Civil War came, the two surviving brothers were staunchly on the side of the Confederacy. Why? Because they were Southern Democrats and they had the principal place of business was in Alabama. Okay? Now, when the 2008 housing market collapsed, right? When the 2008 economy collapsed, did the United States government save Lehman Brothers? No, off with their heads. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So in the world of finance, Chase Bank, number uno, is named after an abolitionist attorney, number uno, and then the bank who has their origins in their name, literally, right? They got Confederate sympathies. They anti-black. When the United States of America get a chance to bail them out, do we bail them out? Do we throw them a lifeline? No, we don't. Off with Lehman Brothers' heads. Everybody else got something. You're gonna get. It's gonna be a merger of some sort. You're gonna get acquired. Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, stuff like that, right? That's what happened. All right. So also, I didn't show y'all this because remember this gentleman. Remember earlier I showed y'all. Let me see, because this is very important. This is my man right here. I did. Watch this, John J. Remember, I showed you. They said it. John Jay signed off on the 1774 Articles of Association, who was also a founder and member of the New York Manumission Society to help free slaves in New York. Who was the first Chief Justice of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen? Huh? Hey, who used to do that? Hey, who was that? Who was that? Hulk Hogan? Huh? Who was the first Chief Justice of the United States of America? Huh? Get out of here. Right? John Jay. I showed y'all John Jay signed the document that said slavery is done. So stop playing. Stop playing. He's literally, and George Washington appointed him. But was not George Washington named on that same document? This is what I'm saying. Look at this. George Washington's name is on the document in 1774. So is John Jay. And then years later, Washington gonna become your first president. And then he's like, you know what? I need me a Chief Justice. Hey, yo, John, I need you to occupy that post. Now, I'm gonna give y'all a nugget. This is gonna be my last one. I'm gonna kind of bring it. Do y'all know that basically the IRS was created by Abraham Lincoln? Okay, I need to do a whole presentation on this alone. The Internal Revenue Department basically was created by Lincoln because they had to raise money to get the slaves free because they're fighting a war. Revenue got to come from somewhere. Black folks, in all honesty, we should not have beef with the IRS. I'm just going to keep it real with you. Them allies. Okay? Because the origin of them is literally getting money to get us free. That's a fact. Now, I'm going to take you into the first document, the first director of the IRS, Mr. George. Is his last middle name S? Oh boy, that memory is all right of yours, man. Mr. George Boutwell. Okay. Now, he was the first director of, let me see if they got his post. So he worked in the Treasury, boom, boom, boom. Oh, there it is. First commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. Appointed by who? Mr. Abraham Lincoln. Now, let me see, because he said something. Let's read this. Here it is. Let's read this. It's about to get nasty. Listen to this. Listen. In July 1862, during a period with northern, antipathy or antipathy, right, toward the prospect of northern migration of free slaves was at its heights, Boutwell gave a speech on Capitol grounds in which he advocated freedom for who? African American slaves, because it would keep them out of the North. That's what he said, right? Now watch this. He even urged Lincoln to dedicate the states of who? South Carolina and Florida for American blacks. Hold on. Let's keep reading. I have heard that in the city of Brooklyn, it's Brooklyn in the house, there was a riot between free white laborers and colored men. What is the solution to this difficulty? Freedom to the blacks? Then will they go from the North to the free territories of the South, to which by nature they belong? Lincoln should have made South Carolina and Florida free. I will praise God if tonight I can hear by President's proclamation that South Carolina and Florida were free and dedicated to the black population of the country. The competition with the white laborers of the North would cease. Listen. Stop playing. You mean to tell me that the first director of the IRS that Abraham Lincoln put in office was like, listen, so it won't be no competition amongst whites and blacks up north. Man, y'all should take South Carolina and Florida. You like to go down south anyway. That's where you're from. As far as, geographical landmass, you like the South, you like the palm trees and shit. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to tell you, if you want to make the claim on reparations, you got to know where to do it at. And here's the kicker. You got to know if, because right now, this flag that came and got you out of slavery, that's a fact. But you got to know if they dropped the ball somewhere. And they did, but that's a whole other conversation. But the first director of the IRS was like, yo, y'all niggas need y'all own 2 states down south. That should be y'all. We don't ever hear about that, though. Feel me? So, Mr. IRS, hey, I know what y'all is. I know who it is. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing with the IRS, too. And let's keep it a buck. Nobody likes paying taxes because, it's your money that you earn, rightfully so, right? But if you overpay, you know what they do? They say, here's a refund. As Grant Cardone would say, if you get a tax refund, that means you're stupid because you overpaid the government too much money and they were honest enough to give it back to you. They're just not giving you money just because. It's your money. You overpaid. They didn't trust you or whatever the case may be. You filed your taxes wrong or whatever. When you first got the job, whatever. They took out too much money. Here you go. Right? Or there are some credits and some things where we could help you with this and that's cool, but here you go. Right? Beautiful. That's honesty. That's honesty. Right? So these people ain't here to hurt you. You got to know the rules of the game. Most importantly, I would say know their physical origins. Because their physical origins is literally an agency that was created to help us get free. Okay? All right. So I'm going to leave it right there. Y'all got any questions or comments? Let me know, man, what y'all think about today's presentation. Listen, man, it's the 4th of July. It's a beautiful alignment outside. When you get in this particular pocket of space right here, when you get in the straight line right here, like right here, man, like right here, you get right here in the straight line, hey, man, you celebrate. Because in truth, This earth keeps on moving. And you won't get this. You only get a straight line in a circle 2 times a year. July 4th and January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, that pocket. Right? So you only get a straight line on a circle 2 times a year. You celebrate this time. This is your greatness. And absolutely 1000%, as I have proven in today's dissertation, this independence absolutely had you in mind. It had our ancestors in mind all day. Okay. So if we got any questions, feel free. You can drop it in the chat. Let me know. All right. Let me know. Put it on in there. All right. All right. Appreciate it. One flow. You always put it in the right perspective for us. Speak the truth. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. That was Miss Flo. Miss Flo was like, man, the Union Soldier doing something. Hey, come on, man. Y'all, man, what y'all doing, man? Come on, man. What y'all shoes look like today? Huh? What y'all wearing? What? Come on, man. Huh? All right, let me take off my socks. Want me to take off my sock? Huh? What we doing here today? Huh? Come on, man. I got the socks. I got the shoes. Y'all tripping. I know what this is. No, but seriously, y'all, I'm really grateful and thankful, man. Because you had some individuals, they didn't have to do what they did. They didn't have to do that. John Adams was his wife was more vocal about slavery to him. John Adams was like, he didn't really get into the slavery thing. I think like one statement of his is like, I've never had slaves and used slave labor for anything, but he didn't get into that. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't his twist. But his wife was a little bit more vocal and whatnot. But certain people, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to get in that business. You know what I'm saying? You lose your life. Listen, there's a senator by the name of Preston Brooks from South Carolina, and another senator from the Massachusetts area by the name of Charles Sumner. Shout out to Charles Sumner, who's like, he wanted blacks free so bad. He wanted blacks free so bad. The gentleman from South Carolina, Preston Brooks, pistol whipped him on the Senate floor. A meeting in Congress. No, not pistol whipping. He hit him with a cane. He caned him. Beat the shit out of Charles Sumner for wanting to have free blacks. Seriously. All right, man. I'm about to show you, homie, because I want y'all. Okay, watch. Hold on. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, I'm serious about this stuff, man. Hold on. It's probably called the caning of Sumner. And it's a famous picture, man. This is serious shit. Seriously. All right. Charles Sumner getting his ass whipped by Preston Brooks, hitting him with a stick because homeboy wants slavery. All right. So I'm telling you, there's some people on the record who literally got murdered, got their butt beat, got bopped upside the head for wanting to help our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's 100% disingenuous for us not to acknowledge that we had allies. That's all. The core of my message is this, man. I know I be picking a little bit. I know I do. I do it. I ain't gonna lie. I be picking a little bit, because I know it make them mad. I know. But the truth of the matter is, all I'm really saying is we got allies and we need to dig up our allies. See, stop telling me and stop telling, this is what I want to say. Stop telling my people, y'all gonna be my people now. Stop telling my people that this white man did this and the white man this and the white man and the white man and the white man and the white man and systematic racism. But you can't go on record and name 5 white folks, and you can't name John Brown and Abraham Lincoln. You can't name 5 white folks that went to bat, either signed some type of legislation that was, let's say, in government, that was fighting for your behalf. You can't name 5. But you can tell me all this stuff what the enemy is doing. But you can't tell me what your allies did to your enemies. Because last I checked, our allies beat our enemies. That's the part that baffles me. Why would I want to tell that story when our allies beat the enemy? You feel me? So that don't add up to me. That's that chicken shit. That's chicken shit, literally. You know what I mean? It don't add up. You know, tell the story of the victory, the ones who won. Ain't no sympathizing, because some people be so in love with being the victim, so much so they don't even realize that that's what they doing. They in love with that shit. They don't even know they in love with it. You know, it's gonna give you every reason why you didn't have no freedom. Oh, they only gave you some freedom, man, because they wanted you to come up north and work in the factory. Well, they could have let you came up north and change you up to the factories and let you work for free. You was already a slave. What I got to trick you for to come up north and let you have any aspect of freedom for? That don't make no sense. Why are we gonna die about it? Abraham Lincoln died about it. He died about it. There's hundreds of thousands of people that are dead right now in Union uniforms that died about it. If it was an agreement in the master plan, why do we have to die about it? White man to white man, why do we have to fight and die? That's part of the master plan too. That's part of the agreement. Fuck out of here. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta say that. Because see, when you start getting into this, you'll start to see that, I forget his name, but he was from Kentucky. It wasn't Clay. You would start to see, man, you would have families. A father who's in politics got 2 sons, and one son go to the Confederacy and the other son go to the Union. Yeah, like I couldn't even imagine that shit, bro. Like, that's wild to me. Your sons are on 2 different sides of the war, possibly shooting at each other. This one is pro-slavery and this one is anti-slavery. And you gonna tell me it's a master plan? I ain't with that. I ain't with that. All right. So no more victim consciousness. I don't deal with that. All right. All right. DeLeon, what up? Hey, bro, can you go back over why spiritually Harriet Tubman was going on the $20 bill? Yeah, because Andrew Jackson is the war general, right? That's what he's known as, the war general, because he fought in one of the wars. And I think he fought in the American-Mexican War. And he also went into Florida. So if you type in Fort Negro in Florida, you will see where the slaves were running from the South, Georgia, South Carolina, all that, coming into Florida. At that time, Florida was owned by Spain, and you can escape over there and be free. But Andrew Jackson came in and destroyed the fort, and any black people that was there, put them in chains and put them back into slavery. So let's look at the dollar bills. Let's look, like, if you look at the dollar, who is that? George Washington. We already see where he's staying with us. Washington, good. He signed the law. He signs the Articles of Association saying slavery is going to be done with, and then he stops the exportation of slavery. Okay. And Washington got some cryptic stuff going on too with his so-called male servant. But anyway, so Washington, good. We go to next denomination, the $5 bill. That's Lincoln. Come on, he good. We go on the 10. Who on the 10? Hamilton. Who on the 10? Or that's the 20. No, that's Jackson on the 20. Who on the 10? Who is on the 10? That's Hamilton, right? All right. Let me see. Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton is on a $10 bill, but Alexander Hamilton was a part of the New York Manumission Society to help free slaves. Okay, so let's go to the next denomination up. 20, Andrew Jackson. We just said what he was about, so hold on, let's put him over here. The next denomination is 50. Come on, man. That's Grant. Grant serves as the head general for Abraham Lincoln. Grant wins the Civil War. Grant becomes president after Andrew Johnson. Lincoln is dead. His vice president becomes president. He get out of there. Grant became president 2 times. And this is where you get the 15th Amendment. Your right to vote comes for Grant. And you get the first Black senators and first Black House of Representatives. So first Black Congress members come under Grant. Your first Black senator is a man by the name of Hiram Revels from Mississippi. And then Blanche is the first U.S. representative. I think he might have been from South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, in the House. So you get your first Black Congress members under Grant. Also with Grant signs a law known as the Klan Act, also known as the Enforcement Acts. But this is the Ku Klux Klan Act. Grant stumps out the first Ku Klux Klan because after the Civil War is over, these dudes is pissed and they do some sissy shit and they go put on hoods and they start sneak dissing and sneak attacking with hoods on. And so the first Klan gets totally annihilated by Grant. This is why you had a second Klan. Okay, so Grant is on the 50, so he good. The next denomination is $100 bill, which is Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin is a creator of the Pennsylvania Manumission Society, an abolitionist society that's about getting slaves free. Benjamin Franklin. So Franklin good. All our denominations are good besides Andrew Jackson. Now, what a coincidence. They want to replace that one with Harriet Tubman. But I'm going to say the only reason that it hasn't happened is because Black consciousness hasn't got up to a point of, in all honesty, I think a level of appreciation. And it ain't something that got to be verbalized per se, like how we doing right here. It's just a vibe. We ain't there. You can't go to the average. You can't go to no Black people and be like, do you think America wanted to, at the founding of the country, do you think they wanted to do away with slavery or have slaves? They go, that's obvious to have slaves. No, it's not true. I just went through like 4 documents in here. It's not true, right? I think when we elevate to a certain point, it'll happen. But that's the spiritual reason. You know what I'm saying? What a coincidence. Same thing like I said with Lehman Brothers, bro. Lehman Brothers fell out. You know, the bank crashed and the government didn't save them. But that was the bank that was connected to the Confederacy. You feel me? And so, like, nah, we ain't bailing y'all out. And the number 1 bank in the world is Chase Bank because that's the abolitionist bank. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So coincidence or spiritual alignment in a sense. You know what I mean? So that's what that is. Good question. You know? Any other questions? A Jew trying to get me to talk about some of this stuff. October the 5th, man, we in Chicago. Saturday, October the 5th. We're gonna have our manifestation gala podcast style. But he like, man, you got to talk about some of this stuff. And I'm like, hey, whatever, if you want to, you know, because we know that it's a critical hang up for people. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. Yeah, it's such a, like, America copied Egypt, you know, based off its calendar system. But that's you. You know what I'm saying? And I thought this would be getting me though. And I only used to hear the Moors say this though. You know, the Moors used to say that we initiated European Masons to hold power because we recognized we was falling, i.e., especially falling out of Spain. And so our power was going to be diminished. So we started initiating Europeans. And then when the future generations wake up and put the pieces of the puzzle together, the powers that be, in a sense, will be there already waiting for us. And the only thing we got to do is just walk through the door. If we initiated them and we taught them, that's the reason I became a Mason. Not only that, too, the main motivating factor, that's the second reason. The main motivating factor is this. You're not going to sit up here and tell me that a group of white men run the world through handshakes and hand signs and certain words. And then there's a black equivalent body to that, that you can get the same handshake, you can get the same words, you can get the same stuff. And you're not going to run a mockery on me in the real world just because you are part of some order and you saying words. If I'm supposed to be your father, right? The black man, the father of civilization. I'm supposed to be your father. I'm supposed to be a part of the lineage that was the grand builders of things. How is it that I don't know these little simple degrees that you got in this language that you speak in? But how does that make me a master if I don't even know that which I taught? Now superimpose that upon they run things in society. So it was said, they run stuff in society. That makes me a peon. That's what it makes me. And I'm not with that. So I got to go get those keys. So what's came down? What's up? What's happening? And in the North, fraternal relations between the Black Lodge and the White Lodge is copacetic. It's all good. We fraternize with each other. What's happening? What you need? You good? Well, all right, come on. Y'all coming over. We're going to do a ceremony over here. Y'all welcome to come through. There's a relationship there. Not so much in the South, but up north, yeah, it's a relationship there. So I got to go get that. But that's just how I am, you know. You sitting up there. Yeah, I can't imagine that is so, man. Oh, that could be my ego, but that is so. What's the word, man? What's the word? That is so. Nah, you can't do that to me. You can't sit up there and it could be anything, man. It could be a judge, it could be a cop, it could be anything that's like, he say something like Brother Solomon, and I don't know how to respond to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, get out of here, man. I never forget, man. We was leaving one of our trips, man, and we got pulled over, and the Jew was driving and shit, man. And he came, of course, they always come on the passenger side and shit. And I had my Masonic ring on. I put move my hand in a certain position and shit, man. He put Jew in the front seat, not the back seat, the front seat. You know what I'm saying? Gave that man first class treatment just so he can just run it there. He was just seeing two niggas early in the morning coming through. Probably thought we was running something on that 95 pipeline. You know what I mean? But we wasn't. We just came back from the mountains, bro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all Masons? Your buddy in Mason? Yeah, you gotta ask him. You know what I'm saying? You the mailman, so you got a Fed card. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a Mason. You get front seat treatment. So for me, you know what I'm saying? Like it's about the politics. Walking around here talking about peace to the gods, and you don't know nothing. White man got 32 degrees. He frozen. And we gave him 1 degree just to give him a little bit of 1 degree above light. And meanwhile, you ain't doing nothing. And if I told y'all what the 33rd degree was really about, it'll blow your mind. And fuck it, I'm just going to tell you. It's about taking over the Catholic Church and killing the Knights of Malta, who stole the treasures and everything from the Knights of the Crusader Knights and whatnot, the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar is pissed with the Knights of Malta in the Catholic Church under one of the popes. Facts. It's public information. You did some research. Facts. So all this time, y'all been telling me the 33rd degree was some old super deep Illuminati shit, but the 33rd degree is technically talking about literally Frederick the Great of Persia said, listen, when we get in power in the future, and if anybody were to go to war with the Knights of Malta, which the Knights of Malta are technically the military order of the Vatican. So if the Vatican ever comes under attack, the Knights of Malta must be its police force. If that ever happens, the 33rd degree has taken the obligation to join the enemy to go at the Catholic Church. Facts. But y'all telling me 33rd degree is on some old deep shit that has something to do somehow to our oppression, and it don't. They're lying to sound deep. Okay? And don't make me pull out the receipts to that. because I will. I got it right here. I will show you that. Okay? Don't believe these cats. Yeah, I'm telling you. Don't believe. You're thinking, okay. Okay, no, I'm gonna show you. Cause see, this is what I know. This is what I know. The information is yours. You know what I mean? This is what I know. You know what I mean? Hold on. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I got a whole file on this. Think I'm lying? You think I'm lying? Hold on. Go ahead. Ask your question. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna come with the receipts today. Share my entire screen. Boop. We're gonna come with this. What that say? Huh? Philip the Fair, King of France, grew jealous of them, talking about the Knights Templar. With jealousy turned to hatred because they embraced the cause of Boniface VIII in disputes he had with the king. Philip never forgave the Templars for their conduct in these matters. On the 13th of October, 1309, he arrested all the Knights Templar in his kingdom and inflicted upon them the most cruel tortures. Okay? Now, y'all see this. Y'all see this, right? Now, on October the 1st, 1312, the Council of Vienna banished the order in agreement with the Pope and gave the greater part of their possessions to the Knights Hospitallers, or the Saints, or of the St. John's of Jerusalem, the Knights of Rhodes, now called Knights of Malta. Okay? Now, hold on. Let's get into the juicy part. Let's get into the juicy part. And they start telling you again, this is going through the ritual of the 33rd degree. Okay? I'm going to get into when they, where is it? When they going to get into taking over. Hold on. Here it is right here. What do it say? But if the sovereign power declared war, we are bound by the solemn obligation we have taken, and if our business permits, we're bound to join the army of their enemies and use our talents both in cabinet and field to exterminate the order, that we may again possess the rich and strong places belonging to the Templars by right. That's the 33rd degree. All right? That's the 33rd degree. It's the infighting of Europeans that's in certain position to go at each other inside that Catholic Church. And what a coincidence, the Catholic Church banned Freemasonry right before Frederick the Great, the creator of the 33rd degree, came into power. The Catholic Church banned Freemasonry. Facts. Okay? So don't let this, all that rhetoric shit, people just be talking. They don't know what they're talking about. All right? All right. So Leon said, does the Royal Arch have anything to do with the Archangels? That's a good question. I haven't seen it. They stuff is really bland, man. I haven't seen that. The Keystone, I haven't seen it. I've been trying to make a connection between is the Masonic degrees, particularly the Scottish Rite, which is really the French Rite. And see, look at that. That's a whole nother thing. The Scottish Rite don't come from Scotland. It's come from France. Okay? But they cloaked it in that. All right? Because the Scottish Rite is the Rite that got the 33rd degree. That's like, yo, we about to go at these boys. But I wonder for a time in the degree work, was it cryptic about freeing the slaves and setting up a different Masonic order inside of the states with that intention? So was the degree work encrypted? And I'm not necessarily landing on that either, per se, you know. But it's obvious what the 33rd want to do. They flat out tell you. All right. Okay. All right. So, but I haven't seen that connection yet. Masonry's boring. They ain't working on that. They ain't cracking no. They ain't on nothing, man. They on nothing. So look, I have put a question in the Patreon that asks, "What's your degree?" Right? If there's 360 degrees in the circle, then technically, you have a degree. And this is more obviously of an esoteric thing, right? March 21st, 20th will be 0 degrees. So March 21st will be 1 degrees, right? And then you can start counting how many days is your birthday from March 20th. That would technically give you the degree. Okay. That's the 0 point. The starting point is at the vernal equinox. And I'll explain that later and whatnot. But it's just a way to calculate some stuff and to kind of just start playing with an esoteric system, because this system is mathematics. Our solar system of reality is a mathematical system. And so perhaps, since it is absolutely aware of 360 degrees being the circle, perhaps your degree means something. Every number means something. Okay. So calculate that for fun, because we never really hear people talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Really, like, I've never heard that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hold on. I never heard, what's your degree? In the zodiac, it's like, oh, I'm a 27 degree this, I'm a 29 degree this. The highest degree in the zodiac sign is 29 degrees. And then the next sign kicks in from 0. So you got 0 Aries all the way up to 29 degrees Aries. So if you count 0 as 1, that's technically 30 degrees. So you never see anything past the number 30 in a birth chart. It's either 0 through 29. But you're dealing with a 360 degree circle. So technically you have things from 0 all the way around to 359. Okay? Technically. So then what is that right there within this circle? And to me, again, it goes back to this, man, listen, hang on. Like, it was this saying, and it was in the Nation of Islam. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had taught that European Masons who wear a fez, they got their tassel is pinned down. His tassel can't move freely around the fez. And this is symbolic to represent that his knowledge is limited. Whereas we got free reign. So we supposed to have 360 degrees, kind of like that graduation cap I posted in Patreon. You're supposed to have 360 degrees of wisdom. All right. What is your degree? That's all I'm saying. What's your degree? All right. So a little fun exercise in the realm of the esoteric science. All right. So start March 20th, March 21st. You'll be one off. It's fine. Because what you will learn is sometimes things merge. Meaning, if today the sun is at 15 degrees Cancer, tomorrow morning, it could still be at 15 degrees Cancer, but at 9 a.m. it's going to go 16 degrees Cancer. So, because think about it, we're trying to fit 365 days into a 360 degree reality. So there's a merger of the sun being at the same degree, different minute, and then it'll later kick into the next degree. You feel me? So that 1 degree off, you ain't really off. You know what I mean? If you can get it down to your time. I got a gift. I'll really show y'all how to do it. But you gotta go through one of the first module right now is just the Kabbalah. We're creating some more, but I made my mind up that I'm gonna really put the Jews on some stuff when people have disciplined themselves to go through these modules and pass, because now it's a matter of, that you have the understanding, because you got the little basic results to show that you answered the questions correctly to have the understanding. It's important. All right. So, man, listen, man, enjoy y'all day. Whatever y'all do, I don't care how you do it. It's your business how you do it. Anyway, enjoy it. Be happy. Be mighty. Be independent. Take a moment moment of silence in a sense for our founding fathers, especially Adams and Jefferson. They passed on this day. They absolutely made it possible. We give super thanks. I absolutely give thanks for the divine intelligence that occupied those beautiful souls to make the freedom and liberties that we have absolutely possible. So salute to them. Thomas Jefferson also had a Holy Quran. It's a known fact that Thomas Jefferson owned a Holy Quran. You're talking about people who are pretty much majored in comparative religions, and that's kind of like my thing. You know, that's my thing. You would see me in the Bible today, but then you would see me, you know, quoting the Quran tomorrow. Oh, let me tell y'all something I found in this Quran. This bad boy is beautiful. Where was it at? Where did I see that at? Oh, Booge. What is that? It's 85. It's gonna blow your mind. I've been saying it for years. I was gonna come out with the Cosmic Quran and start going. Look at what this chapter is called. Right here. Right here. What does that say? Surah 85, the zodiacal signs. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful, but the sky displaying the zodiacal signs. What? Man, y'all better stop playing with me. You know, see, I gotta go get the Muslims, because the Muslims gonna say, well, brother, that's shirk. He studied the stars. But there is a verse. Watch this. There's a verse in the Holy Quran, right? You know, I said I'm getting out of here. I'm about to get out of here. I promise. I'm showing you this and I'm out. What is it? I think it's an 80. No, maybe 15, maybe. I gotta find it. Let me see if it's 15. Let me see. What's this? 16 is the B. No, that's the 7 gates. No. Where's the commands flow from them? Man, I'm sorry. Or is that at 80s? That was in the 80s. Let me see. But there's a part in here. Or could be Rahman, maybe 55 Rahman, maybe. Let me see. Let me go to 55 real fast. 54, the moon. This is not it right here. But I forget the chapter that it's in, but it talked about how the commands flow from the planets. That's Allah's command. It flows from the planets and whatnot. But one of my favorite ones, though, is 7 and 8. If you read this right here, right? Right? What does it say? The sun and moon are perfectly calculated. He constructed the sky and established the law. You shall not transgress the law. Then what the hell is the law? He constructed the sky and established the law. You shouldn't transgress the law. What's the law? The law is the heavenly bodies, man. Well, y'all gotta stop playing, man. Stop playing. All right, man. Tell them sorry, skies. All right. We out, man. I'll see y'all later. All right, peace.